The city of New Orleans is undoubtedly unlike any other place in the United States of America. New Orleans can attribute its unique identity to a broad assortment of cultures which have each made their mark on the Crescent City. When people visit New Orleans, they talk about the amazing people, the parties, beautiful architecture, unique traditions, and especially the food. In my 18 years as a New Orleanian, I've come to learn that food is a vital part of the lives of the city's inhabitants. It seems like food is the topic of most conversations, and the plethora of award-winning restaurants and nationally recognized chefs confirm that New Orleans is one of America's great food cities. Food plays a major role in the identity of New Orleans and factors into the rich history found in the Big Easy. New Orleans was founded in 1718 by the French Louisiana governor Jean-Baptiste Le Moyne de Bienville as a port to the mouth of the mighty Mississippi River. The original settlers of the city were the outcasts of their society, united by a common drive to succeed and create a new life for themselves. New Orleans was destroyed several times by floods and fires, but the hardworking citizens banded together and never gave up on their city. Since New Orleans was founded by the French, they have had the largest effect on the city both culturally and culinarily. The Cajuns, the people who live in southern Louisiana, have a unique cuisine which is heavily influenced by the French. The backbone of Cajun New Orleans cooking is the holy trinity of seasoning, a diced mixture of celery, onion, and green bell pepper. The trinity is used in many Cajun dishes such as étouffée, gumbo, and jambalaya. The French can also claim credit for the signature dessert of the city, the beignet. The fried donut is best served with a café au lait sitting at Café du Monde in Jackson Square. Additionally, all New Orleanians know that the best way to serve a sandwich is on French bread as a po' boy. The famous sandwiches originated from the workers in the city, aka poor boys, who would make their sandwiches from giant loaves of French bread. The po' boy has become one of New Orleans' most famous foods, and it even has an annual festival on Oak Street dedicated to it. The French tradition of masquerade balls translated into New Orleans' world-famous celebration of Mardi Gras. New Orleans is seemingly synonymous with Fat Tuesday. The food associated with the carnival season is king cake, a brioche cake ring topped with icing and sprinkles in the signature Mardi Gras colors, purple, green, and gold. A small plastic baby representing the baby Jesus is often hidden inside of it. Thomas Jefferson had his eyes set on the city of New Orleans because control of the Mississippi would provide a large boost to the growing American economy. President Jefferson bought the Louisiana Territory from Napoleon in 1803, and New Orleans became an American trade hub. The open access to the river and the Gulf of Mexico allow for amazing fresh seafood to be on the menu year-round. Delicacies such as boiled crawfish, crabs, and shrimp, as well as raw oysters, are local favorites. The city was extremely diverse for its time, with white people, free African American men, Creole refugees from the Caribbean, and slaves composing the population. The French settlement quickly became America's third largest city and a booming trade center. New Orleans was also the stage for one of the largest battles of the War of 1812, fought against the British. General Andrew Jackson, with the assistance of famous French pirate Jean Lafitte, handily defeated British opponents and defended the city from English occupation. The famous Jacksonian monument stands today in his namesake square. The unfortunate truth and dark side of New Orleans' past reveals itself through the city's huge slave population in the 18th and 19th centuries. Slaves in New Orleans had more freedoms and rights than anywhere else in the southern United States, showing the understanding and camaraderie found in the people of the city. The unusually large amount of free black people created the Faubourg Treme, the oldest African American neighborhood in the country. New Orleans is also the birthplace of jazz, which attributes its origins to slave gatherings held on Sundays in Congo Square, a phenomenon unique to New Orleans. Slaves brought their culture with them, and the city can thank African culture for its music, rituals, and of course, its food. Okra, which was brought from Africa, is a vegetable crucial to New Orleans-style cooking, found fried or stewed by itself or as a part of gumbo. Red beans and rice, famously eaten on Mondays, also has its origins from Creole slaves. Soul food plays a large role in New Orleans' culinary identity. A plethora of famous restaurants such as Dookie Chase's serve the heartwarming comfort food attributed to the African American community. As America opened its doors to immigrants at the end of the 19th century, immigrants from all over Europe flooded into the city. Most notably, the Italians and the Irish sought New Orleans as a Catholic home away from home, where many shared their faith. Of all the immigrant groups, the Italians, especially Sicilians, left the largest imprint on New Orleans culture and cooking. Italian food is found everywhere around the city at famous restaurants like Impastado's, Venetia's, and Vincent's. A famous New Orleans Italian dish is the muffaletta, a sandwich consisting of cured meats, cheeses, and olive salad served on a round sesame roll. The New Orleanian Italian community also calls marinara sauce red gravy, a unique term of local dialect. The Sicilian community also celebrates the feast of Saint Joseph, the foster father of Jesus, by building an altar in his honor surrounded by various biscotti, breads, and fava beans. Another more recent group has had an effect on New Orleans culture. Refugees from Vietnam fled the war in their homeland, and many came to Louisiana finding a similar climate and land to Vietnam. The Vietnamese were colonized by the French as well, so they share the heavy French influence found in New Orleans. Vietnamese and New Orleans cultures have fused into the Vietnamese po' boys, or banh mi, featuring sliced pork with pâté and several fresh vegetables on signature French bread. In 2005, one of the greatest disasters in modern American history occurred as New Orleans' levee system failed and Hurricane Katrina flooded the city with several feet of water, and thousands upon thousands of people lost their homes and possessions to the ferocious storm. As the city began to rebuild, many people from Mexico and Central America came to New Orleans seeking work in the reconstruction of the city. New Orleans' Hispanic population has increased, and so has the popularity and importance of the Hispanic food scene. Latino workers were crucial in the rebuilding of the city post-Katrina and are yet another example of a culture gleefully embraced by the diverse city. Food is an integral part to New Orleans culture, and the wide range of foods that make up New Orleans' culinary identity reveal the diversity and interesting background to the city as a melting pot, like a bowl of gumbo. Each culture that has shaped this amazing city is like an ingredient for the dish that is New Orleans. If the city was lacking any of these contributions, the recipe would fail, and New Orleans would not be the special place it is today. Food reveals New Orleans' culture and history through a unique lens, and I will continue learning history as my major at Tulane University, staying in the wonderful city I love and am blessed to call home. Luckily, I won't have to give up all the amazing food and incredible traditions which make my home such an amazing, unique place.